Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Silly Point. And today I have a very special guest with me in Alan Wilkins. Alan played first class cricket and he took 400 first class wickets as well. Alan then moved into broadcasting. He's done tennis, he's done cricket, he's done all sorts of things. He's also played rugby, if I'm correct. So, Alan, glad to have you with us. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much, Rehan. It's good to be with you. It's nice to see the Islamabad United logo as well. It feels like a long time ago since the truncated PSL finished on March the 17th, I think it was, when we didn't, of course, have the playoffs, and we certainly haven't had the finals. So it seems like so long, so much has happened since we saw a game of cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. That was that it feels strange. It's been so long, and as far as Lama United is concerned, we are not too worried about the playoffs because we did not make it this time. But hopefully we can complete the tournament. So,
Well,
Alan, let's start off. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I was saying that Islamabad United, you've had a pretty good run so far. You've won it twice. You've always contested the playoffs. And, it just shows the strength and the quality of the PSL with the six teams because, it's one game, it's 5 minutes here, it's 5 minutes there, and it's so small, the margin for error and the margin then for success. T20 cricket is all about that. So, and I think it's a learning process all the time. So Islamabad didn't happen this year, but next year, who knows, you could win it for the third time.
Yes, hopefully we will, and hopefully you will be commentating when that moment happens. So I'm looking
Fingers
forward to
crossed.
that. Yeah, fingers crossed. So Alan, just we're interested in knowing a bit of your journey. So after playing first class cricket, you came into broadcasting. Can you please talk us through that and your playing days and how it's different from when you were playing to when you became a broadcaster?
Well, it's a long journey. I wanted to get my education first. I could have started playing cricket when I was about 18, I suppose, but I wanted to go get an education. I got my degree in sports science and history with psychology of sport honors. That was at Loughborough University, which now is the #1 university in England for sport. So I did 4 years there, qualified as a teacher. I didn't want to teach. I went straight into cricket. And I guess I had about 7 years of cricket, 6, 7 years. But, it started while I was at university. I was always going to try and play at the highest level. I was going well. It was going very well. I played for 2 counties. My first captain was Majid Khan at Glamorgan, and then Javed Miandad. I played a season with Javed at Glamorgan. And then at Gloucestershire, just across the road in Bristol, I played with Zahir Abbas, Sadiq Mohammed, and Mike Proctor was my captain. So I've had a fantastic experience playing with and against the greatest players, I think, who's ever played this game. Vivian Richards, Clive Lloyd, Gordon Greenidge, all that great West Indies team. But then a shoulder injury. I was left arm fast, medium fast, maybe not as fast as Shaheen Shah Afridi or not as fast as Naseem Shah. But, I relied on rhythm, and I had a bad shoulder injury at the age of 28. And I didn't bowl a ball in first-class cricket in my last year, 1982. And it was a very, very bad period for me because I decided that I wasn't as good as I was, say, 3 years before that. And I decided to call time on my career. I didn't want to coach. I felt I was too young, too raw to coach. And so I decided that a career in broadcasting was what I wanted. And I got into it that way. I began in radio. I'm just going to have a cup of tea here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks. And began in radio, moved into television, and it's been a journey of 30 odd years in broadcasting, and I've covered cricket all over the world. And obviously in the last couple of seasons we've been lucky to get to Pakistan because cricket has returned to Pakistan, which has been fantastic. The the stadiums, the support is just phenomenal. And I think people in Pakistan want more cricket in the country. And PSL has been a great vehicle for that. So in a nutshell, Rehan, that's my career. Education first, cricket second, injury, and then sports broadcasting.
Yeah, you've had quite the journey, and you mentioned some of the great Pakistani names that you had the pleasure of playing with, and your captain as well, Majid Khan. And this is what I wanted to touch upon as well about Majid Khan, and he's one of the most flamboyant characters that are associated with the Pakistan cricket team. And so, can you please talk us through what Majid Khan was like as a captain and as a leader?
Well, Majid Khan was one of those cricketers to whom the game came so easily. Majid Khan made batting look so easy, very much like Zahir Abbas for Gloucestershire, who I played with for 3 years. But for Majid, it was almost as if he was, like a hovercraft is above the surface. His feet were always, to me, he had light feet. He danced down the pitch. He was never heavy-footed. He was almost balletic, like he had beautiful movement. It came so easily to Majid. I understand that when he started cricket, he was a fast bowler, but then he had a bad back, so he turned to batting, and he moved up at the top of the order. As a leader, Majid was a very quiet guy. He wasn't a very demonstrative captain. He quietly beckoned you to bowl. If he wanted me to bowl, he would just go like that, and you'd have to keep your eyes on Majid at all the times. Which I think is a good. It's a good psychological way of managing a team, because if you have a captain that shouts all the time, shouts instructions, barks instructions, sooner or later, one or two of those instructions are not going to go in here and they're not going to go in there. But with Majid, he was quiet, didn't say an awful lot, and just took it all in his stride. So he was an interesting character. He was a wonderful player, Rehan. Majid Khan was one of the most beautiful players to watch, and it was a delight. He wasn't of the school of batsmen who thought, I'm going to stay here till tea or till the end of play. I think he felt that he was part of the vehicle of entertainment, and he played flamboyant shots, beautiful stroke play. He had everything. And it didn't worry him if he got out. I don't think it was that process. If you think of somebody like Geoffrey Boycott of England, it worried Geoffrey if he got out. It worried him if he didn't get 100. It worried him if he didn't bat 10 hours. But for Majid, no, it was part of his life. It was part of everyday life.
Yeah, so it came very naturally to him. And you talked about Majid and how nonchalant and calm and composed he was, and how little he used to talk. His son is very different to him. So talk us a bit through bit about Bazid and his sarcasm and everything related to him.
Let me tell you how much fun I have, and every commentator who meets Bazid. I think it takes a while. There's a sort of what you like your first year at university. There's a freshers year. You have to get used to Bazid because he's very dry. He's got a fantastic sense of humor, and you never quite know. But with him, he's always taking the mickey. So he's extremely bright. I happen to think as well that he's got a really good brain on the game. I think Bazid has got respect of people in Pakistan now, because it's not just because he's the son of Majid Khan. Bazid Khan played for Pakistan. Let's establish that straight away. I think he's got a very astute cricket brain. And for somebody who's so young in the commentary box as well, I think he analyzes very well. I think he's got really sound ideas, but he's mischievous. Humor and mischief are never too far away. Two commodities that are never too far away. He is fabulous company, and I hope I have many more years working in the commentary box with Bazid.
Yeah, absolutely. He's always there with a joke. You never know if he's serious or not. I still to this day don't understand when he's joking and when he's actually serious. So
Absolutely. You think he's being serious when actually he's taking the mickey and he's having a joke at your expense. And then realize, say, 10 minutes later, I think he was being mischievous with me. But that's
yeah.
Bazit. Great, great guy.
Alan, your experience, you've talked to us about coming to Pakistan, the PSL coming to Pakistan, and how hungry people are. So, what's your experience been with the PSL so far? As in the new players coming through, have you identified any players that stick out that can become proper talents, especially batsmen, because very few batsmen come through Pakistan.
I, you know what, Rehan, I should have made a list before coming on air with you
Yeah,
about the number of players coming through. Firstly, I think the PSL is now one of the premier T20 tournaments in the world. I think the standards, and we proved this through stats, standards of fielding and the standards and accuracy of bowling was
yeah,
above the Big Bash, way above
yeah.
Australia's Big Bash. You know, the IPL, the Indian Premier League, has been around 13 years. IPL has done five, right? Five editions.
Yeah,
Five?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, this was the fifth edition.
the PSL, sorry. So
Yeah,
I think the and let's not forget that the PSL began in the United Arab Emirates. It began with empty stadiums. Not all the games were full, but now it's moved back into Pakistan. PSL is a fantastic tournament. It brings in all the best players. Well, the
yeah,
best players want to play in the PSL, and now when it's in Pakistan, the comment that I generally glean from most overseas players, most foreign players, is that the quality of bowling is fantastic. Home bowlers for Pakistan, pace bowlers, spin bowlers. Pakistan has got a cupboard full of great bowlers. Now, you've asked about batting. You know, it's probably the area where Pakistan, yes, if you look at Babar Azam and Azhar Ali, Fakhar Zaman, who needs to get a few more runs, I think, but he's an amazing talent. The talent is there. But you see, now that Pakistan has got its own T20 tournament, the PSL, the competition is stiffer, it's stronger, and that margin between success and failure is smaller. So the pressure is greater. And I think that's why we're seeing competition for places. I mean, look at Ahmad Shahzad. Ahmad, who I think he's a fantastically gifted player, but he's not been included in the touring party for England in August. And I just think this is a blip on his career, just a blip. He's a good lad. He's a good kid. I call him a kid. He's young. And I've said this before, Rehan, he's hungry and he wants to play more cricket for Pakistan. And I think he epitomizes that young group of players for whom the selectors, and I know that Yunus Khan has now come on board with Misbah for the team to go to England. Their work is going to be cut out because they have to make decisions on so many good players. And of course, only 11 can play. So I think the cupboard is full. I think the cupboard is brimming with talent, Rehan. And perhaps you should remind me from Islamabad United. Give me your top 5 or 6. Give me your batting lineup, because I know that Luke Ronchi occupies that opening berth, doesn't he? But remind me again who your top 5 or 6 are.
So some of the younger guys who are coming through. There's obviously Shadab Khan got promoted this year, and he did really well batting at number four. There's
Yeah,
Hussain Tallat who did not get enough opportunities this season. He only batted thrice in the tournament. He had a side strain, so he couldn't bat, but he had a really good PSL three. There's Asif Ali, who's always had really good PSLs. This was his first time and he did not do well. So there are these guys coming through. There are younger guys as well. Someone like Rizwan, who did not get enough opportunities this year, but Hussein and Asif have been with us from day one and have done
yeah.
pretty well.
Well, now those names you've mentioned, you see, when Asif Ali comes into bat, and I know, bless him, he's had some terrible tragedy, personal tragedy in his family, and You know, he's coped so well with that. And all the while he played cricket. He's such an unselfish player. He'll go for the big shot. He'll go for the six. Now you remember the PSL, was it 3 where he's hit 3 consecutive sixes? Was it in the
Yes.
final? Smack in
Yeah.
Karachi. You know, he's the
Yeah.
kind of player who's a great team player. Shadab is a great team player. And I know that when Dean Jones was the coach there with Darren Berry, with Misbah as well, and Wasim Akram was there as well. They were always looking for Shadab to go up the order, because when you look at Shadab Khan batting, he's got a very good technique. I think he could become an outstanding all-rounder for Pakistan because his leg spin is superb. He's going to have to learn to bowl in the longer format, but of course he's got competition from Yasir Shah. But again, you know, competition is good. Competition is good for anyone. You just don't want a clear path all the way because you need to be tested. And Hussein Talat, I also think, like you, I think he's a fantastic all-round talent. There is competition there because you have Fahim Ashraf, and I don't think we've seen enough of Fahim batting. If Fahim Ashraf was an English cricketer playing in English county cricket conditions, and I know we haven't had cricket yet, he would be such a high performer because he's got a bowling action that is suited for seam pitches in England, and he can bat. All these lads, the great quality about this Pakistan nucleus of cricketers and that you have at Islamabad is that every one of them wants to bat and bowl. Every one of them wants to be involved in the game. And to be hungry is a great quality. So again, I go back to this fact that there's such talent, and it's up now to the coaches to develop that talent. Look at Shaheen Shah Afridi. I think Shaheen is one of the finest quick bowlers we have in the world now. He's worked hard. He's worked hard at it, and he's always asking questions. And that's again, it's a great quality of young Pakistan cricketers, many of whom I speak with and I speak to about their game, and I watch them with great interest because I see their careers going like this. They really are, and it's that competition, Rehan, which makes them hungry.
So you talked about Shaheen Shah and how he's progressed to one of the top bowlers in the world. Where would you rank him amongst the best fast bowlers currently playing the game?
Well, there's a lot of good fast bowlers around at the moment. The West Indies have just arrived in England, and they have a batch of fast bowlers led by Kemar Roach. They've got Azari Joseph. They've got Usain Thomas. With the Australians, you know what they've got. With Josh Hazlewood and company. They've got all these bowlers. England have got a battery of fast bowlers. But I think Shaheen Shah Afridi can hold his own amongst those boys. New Zealand with Trent Boult and Neil Wagner, 2 left-arm pace bowlers. England's left-arm pace bowlers, there's 1 or 2, but they're not quite getting into the side. I think Shaheen has got such a belief in his own ability. He's not one of these bowlers who likes being on the outside of the stage in the wings. He likes to be on the stage. He likes to be there. Like Shadab likes to be in the middle of the stage, orchestrating the play, orchestrating cricket. Shaheen is one of those cricketers. He's going to get better. He's going to get stronger. Let's not forget he's about 6'6". He's a very tall lad, long levers, and they need more muscle to strengthen that frame of his. I honestly believe he's right up there with the very best.
Yeah, yeah. The Pakistanis love a left-arm fast bowler, especially since since Wasim Akram, we've produced so many left-arm fast bowlers. It's unreal. Sometimes it's difficult to have less than 3 or 4 fast bowlers playing for Pakistan at one time. It's unbelievable the amount of.
Well, it is. I mean, I think it's phenomenal how Pakistan. I mean, Mohammad Amir is not on the tour in August. Wahab has come back into contention. You've got Usman Shinwari back in contention. Shaheen Shah Afridi. you know, that's four. Is that four or five I've mentioned there? And you've got
Yeah,
others
yeah,
who
yeah,
just simply waiting in the queue. So I think it's a nice problem to have. And you got Roman Reis. Roman, your lad, you know,
yeah,
Roman
yeah,
is so clever with the ball, so clever. So again, I go back, it's this
yeah.
competition which is making these boys hungry to play cricket at the highest level.
Yeah, so talking about the highest level, Alan, with cricket coming back and West Indies touring England and the new changes and cricket in times of COVID, and this entire debate of the new rules and everything. What are your thoughts on it, and how important are these next two series for cricket to return properly?
Well, I think we've got to establish, firstly, Rehan, that this coronavirus is an invisible enemy, and the world doesn't quite know how to deal with it yet. So every country in the world, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, England, United States, France, Italy, you name it, we're all trying to cope with this global enemy which has struck the world down. Economically, the world is on its knees. You know, sport is a bit down the chain of maybe importance, but for people who are involved in sport and its livelihood, and sport's important for mental and physical health. Firstly, that's the first point I wanted to make, that the authorities in this
Yeah,
country, in Britain, have done their best to get cricket resuming. Now, we don't have county cricket. There's no club cricket. There's no cricket taking place here at all. It all starts on July the 8th with West Indies playing 3 tests and 3 T20s. And then on August the 5th, Pakistan will be here for 3 tests and 3 T20s. Empty stadiums, just 2 stadiums being used, Manchester, Old Trafford, and Aegis Bowl, Southampton. It's going to be strange, but let's be honest, a number of Pakistan players have played in Abu Dhabi and in
yeah,
Dubai in empty stadiums. So they know what it's like because they've had 10 years of cricket when there was no cricket in Pakistan, at home in Karachi or Lahore or Rawalpindi. So I think
yeah,
for a number of players, for Pakistan's players, it might not be the worst scenario. They're used to this. And they're a good young
yeah,
nucleus of players who want to come through. But, you know, thank goodness we're going to have some cricket because, ironically, the summer here has been so good. The weather-wise, if I could show you today, the weather's absolutely glorious, and we've got no cricket. And um, normally in a British summer, you've had about 25 days when it's been pouring with rain, but we haven't had that. We've had
yeah,
2 days of rain. So, you know, but fingers crossed, Rehan, that July the 8th,
yeah,
West
yeah.
Indies start, August the 5th, Pakistan, and, you know, hopefully people back home in Pakistan can watch the cricket.
So, Alan, what do you think about Pakistan's chances in England? Pakistan have generally done really well in England, especially in Test cricket. Even on the previous tour and the tour before that, they ended up drawing the series. Do you think they have any chance with this young team to upset England in their own backyard?
Well, let's not forget that when Mohammad Abbas picked up 10 wickets at Lords and Pakistan won that, beat England at Lords. In fact, that was about 3 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
3 years ago. Fantastic. Now, all they have to do, and it is a young side, but there's senior heads there as well. I like the fact that Yunus Khan has come on board. Yunus can talk to batsmen about how to bat, because if anyone could bat for Pakistan, it's that man, Yunus. So,
yeah,
you know, England are not unbeatable. August, the pitches, and they won't be well used because we haven't played enough cricket. So there'll be fresh pitches. So I think Pakistan can expect the ball to move around, but that also works in favor of Pakistan because of the quality of Pakistan's bowlers. It's Pakistan's batsmen who are going to have to learn to play the moving ball. And I'm doing that as if the bat's doing this. So your likes of
yeah.
your young batsmen going in are going to have to be brave against a rampant England attack. But I think it could be a fantastic series. I really do. think it could be a great series. That's the Test series. And then, of course, as the T20, well, anything can happen in T20 cricket, but Pakistan has got enough talent to take on England in its own backyard and cause an upset. Or would it be an upset because Pakistan are a better T20 team?
Yeah, well, Pakistan, I think, won 11 T20 series in a row. So T20 cricket is something that Pakistan has always done really well at. Alan, another thing with the England tour, and you talking about batsmen and reliance on batsmen during this England tour. So this is going to be one of Babar Azam's major tours, and he's come of age, and he's one of the best batsmen in limited overs cricket. Is showing signs of becoming a great Test player as well. Where do you rank Babar Azam amongst players you've seen at this age? He's young, and how well has he done for you?
Look, he's a beautiful player. Certain players at that level that he has reached have got the eye and they've got the mental structure, the mental architecture to work out how to set about their stall and bat for a long time. Babar Azam has got that. I talked about Majid, Zahir Abbas. These guys had the mental strength, mental infrastructure, mental architecture I talk about. Babar Azam's got that. He's now got to just get out there, bat for a long time. He knows what to do. There's not a shot in the book he doesn't know how to play. And, we talk about Steve Smith of Australia, Kane Williamson of New Zealand, Virat Kohli of India, and Joe Root of England. There's no reason that Babar Azam couldn't make that the famous five. Why shouldn't he make that the famous five? He's got the talent. He's got the technique, and I know him, he's got the determination. So I think the next 2 years for Babar Azam is when he will be scrutinized, they'll be looking at him, but it's on the big stage that he's got to do it. And he's beautiful to watch. I mean, if you want to watch cricket played with panache and with style and elegance, Babar Azam's he's right up there.
Yeah, and Babar Azam's right up there, and Aaron's been full of praise for Pakistani bowlers coming through and the amount of hunger that there is in this young generation. So good signs for Pakistan cricket. And Alan, talking about flair and good-looking batsmen. So I'm going to do a quick rapid-fire question round with you. This is a very unoriginal segment of this show that we do. So I'm going
Okay.
to ask you a question. What the first name that comes to your mind, you just have to say it out loud. So I'm going to start off with the batsman. Who's the best batsman you've ever seen?
Vivian Richards.
Who is the best bowler you've ever seen?
I'll have to say Malcolm Marshall. These are
Lara
guys
or
I
Tendulkar?
played against. These are the guys I played
Yeah,
against.
yeah.
Go on. Yeah.
Lara or Tendulkar?
Tendulkar.
Ponting or Steve Waugh as captain?
Oh, as captain, probably
Yeah.
Steve Waugh. Probably Steve Waugh.
Imran Khan or Majid Khan?
Oh, woo! Oh my goodness. Well, because I want to visit Pakistan for many more years, Imran Khan.
Wise answer, Alan. Wise answer. So, Alan, you talked about you played with Malcolm Marshall and how good he was. We all know how good Viv was. There's always a comparison, and this is something that a question that was asked on Twitter from you as well. There's always a comparison between players of that generation to players of this generation. Do you think it's ever a fair comparison to compare players across generations, or they should be just left alone?
Well, no, I think it's always an engaging debate, Rehan. I think it's always good. Like you mentioned Ricky Ponting there now, and you'd compare Ricky Ponting with Steve Smith, say. The people of Ricky Ponting's era would say, look, Steve Smith he is so unorthodox. We would rather have the more orthodox Ricky Ponting in there, batting at 3 or 4 for Australia, than Steve Smith with all his weird technique and what have you. I think that what you can do, like you can say unequivocally that Wasim Akram was the game's greatest left-arm fast bowler. Now, who could compare with Wasim Akram? At the moment, it's Mitchell Starc, but he's not doing things with the ball that Wasim did over the period of years. Gary Sobers, Sir Gary Sobers, and for a lot of people watching this, they probably didn't see Gary bowl, but he was a wonderful bowler, and he batted at 6, and he's, for me, the greatest all-rounder who's ever played. But I think with this subject, and it's a good point that you brought up, you can have these chats. You can say, who's the greatest, number 3 that you ever saw? Is it Viv Richards? Yes, in my book, it is Viv Richards. Who's the greatest Pakistan batsman? If you had to name to get you out of a hole to fight, it probably would be Javed Miandad. Do you see where I'm getting at? This, if you said who's the most elegant Pakistan batsman you've ever seen, probably Zahir Abbas. And Majid Khan comes very close to that. So I think but I think it's different. But I think it's a very personal, it's a very subjective subject here. I mean, you'd have to weigh up the weight of runs. Look at the runs that Virat Kohli is scoring now. Now, the way he's going, and he is supremely fit, he could eclipse the record from the great Sachin Tendulkar. But to then say who's the better player, Virat or Sachin? Wow, that is a really, really tough subject, and it's a tough question. But I think if your viewers can understand this, if you said, is there a better left-arm quick bowler the game has ever seen than Wasim Akram? I don't think so. I think Wasim was out there on his own. But let me say this as well, Rehan, that at the other end was a fellow called Waqar Younis. And there was another fellow called Imran Khan. And there was another fellow called Abdul Qadir, who fantastic bowlers. So this was a great Pakistan attack in those 90s. Oh, goodness me. If you're a batsman, you'd be shaking in your shoes. So I think it's always good. It's always good to have this debate, and it's healthy debate as well. So, but don't ask me who's my favorite Pakistan team, because, I'd have to sit down and work that out with you and your friends.
So, Alan, which is your favorite Pakistan team?
How many Islamabad United players do I
have? All of them.
Yeah. No, it's a great subject. It's a great subject, and my opinion would be different from, say, Dean Jones, or different from Mickey Arthur. And that's why I think it's important that you have healthy debate on cricketers, on batsmen. And, these days as well, Rehan, let's not forget that we have Test cricket, one-day cricket, T20 cricket, T10 cricket. So, there's so much variety that certain players are becoming white ball cricketers. Mohammad Amir has now designated himself as a white ball cricketer, when I felt that he still had at least 3-4 years, maybe more, of left arm quick bowling with the red ball. So, but he's made that decision.
Alan, another topic I wanted to touch upon was, and this is something that's discussed in Pakistan a lot, is what players do off the field. And, there's a lot of criticism for Pakistani guys, and, there's this idea that they need to behave a certain way. For example, Hassan Ali is very flamboyant on and off the field. What are your thoughts on it, and how should cricketers behave off the field, or is it their personal private life and no one has a right to judge it?
Well, I think the last point you've made is a very valid one. it's difficult to say to a person who's 20 odd years of age, who's got the right to vote, the right to drive, and he could be married. How do you tell him how to behave? I think what you do instill in a squad is to say, look, boys, we're representing our country. Um, I think the main thing that we're here for is that we're wearing the badge, the sweater, and the cap of Pakistan, and we have to behave in a way that supports that objective, that we're playing for Pakistan. Okay, if you want to stay out till 3 in the morning, doing whatever you want to do, and if it's going to affect your game, then that's going to affect the squad. You can't have
Yeah.
one bad apple in the bowl of fruit.
Yeah.
Everyone has got to buy into the idea that you're a group. You're one squad. You're one group. Now, over the years, if you look at professional football, you've had fabulous players, and they're mavericks. So, would you say to
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo, you must behave like this? Lionel Messi, you must behave like this. Um, England players,
Maradona.
Maradona, he. So I think with some people, you have to give them a little bit of slack. But I think generally, I think now sport has become such a well-paid profession. Cricket is behind football, of course it is. But I was only reading an hour ago, Gareth Bale, the Wales, and I'm from Wales, and
Yeah.
we went to the same
Yeah.
school. He went many years
Yeah.
after me, of course, but he is earning the most staggering amount of money,
Yeah.
£650,000 a week. He is
Yeah.
earning. That's well over £500,000 a week for playing football for Real Madrid. Now, he would be silly, stupid, dumb if he did something that the club could come back to him and say, "You're not playing for us anymore because you've defied us." So I think if
Yeah.
any person who's wearing the Pakistan cricket sweater or the Islamabad cricket sweater, they know that their future, if you're a 21-year-old or 22-year-old, you've got 10 years of cricket, 13 years of cricket. You can travel the world. You're having the time of your life. You're being paid to play sport. What could be better than that? And by doing that, you're being a good man for your family, a good man for yourself, and you're providing for your family. So they're the best times of your life. And this now leads to your captain and your management. If your captain is good, if he is strong and he gets that message across, that's when you've got a good group. That's where your captain and your coach come in, and you reinforce those points that these are the best years of your life. Don't spoil them. Use them to their best effect. Make the most of it, because you get older, you don't get these years again.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan, thank you so much for taking out time. I would love to have you back with us. And next time I invite you, I'll make sure that Bazit Khan is here as well. That will be a fun episode. I'll just sit back and watch you guys. I'll not be doing anything or interfering.
A- Anytime, Rehan. Anytime. But joy to talk with you, and inshallah, cricket will resume, and we'll finish the PSL, and things will get back to normal. But stay safe. Tell everyone, all your friends and family, stay safe. Be careful. This is a nasty thing. This COVID. We must get over this first. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. That's all for Silly Point. As Alan said, stay safe, try to stay at home, and protect your family. Thank you so much for joining us on Silly Point. I'll see you next Friday. Thanks again. Allah Hafiz.